Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Fasten your seatbelt as you are in for learning a lot of useful information about arrays. In this tutorial, we're going to look at multiple different programs to cover some of the key components of an array in C++. We're going to cover anywhere from printing elements of an array one by one to utilizing loops to read elements of one-dimensional and two-dimensional array and printing them out. We will also cover multiplying elements of an array as well as reading from a file. Lots to cover. Let's get started. Before we look at our programs, it's important to understand what is an array. Array is nothing more than a variable that can store multiple values of the same type. Values are stored in adjacent memory locations referred to as index or subscripts. Arrays are stored starting in index 0 all the way to n-1. What this n-1 means is that if I have an array of 3 elements, my first element will be saved in index 0. My second element will be saved in index 1, and my third and last element will be saved in index 2, which means that my third element is now in index 2, and that's where n-1 comes from. Please note that off by 1 error is a common error when it comes to arrays, and we need to pay extra attention, especially when it comes to using loops when reading and writing from and to an array. Alright, now let the fun begin. In this part, we're going to start by writing a program that defines an array of string and integer and prints it out one by one. Now let's run the program. Now let's see what would be the output. I'm gonna do a little F5 here, and here is the output. I have red, blue, oranges with no spaces, and I'm gonna add, let's say it's asking me for 5 numbers. I'm gonna be putting numbers, and sure enough, it is printing every single one of those numbers. Let's fix this problem very quickly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here in this print statement. Of course, I don't have no spaces. As I said, a copy and paste is programmer's best friend. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste some spaces here. There. Now let's run the program again. And here it is. The problem is fixed. Let's put a couple more numbers in here. And there you have it, folks. Printing elements of array one by one is fine, but not very optimized. What if you have 50, 1000, or a lot more elements? Can you even begin to imagine writing a single line of code for every element to be inputted or printed? It's cumbersome and unnecessary. We need a better way, and this is where we get to see the power and the beauty of loops. In the next program, we will use a for loop to print the elements of our array. Okay, and we're going to finish it with a semicolon. Now let's go ahead and run our program. Again, I'm going to run this program using F5. And here is the output of the program. As you can see, there are no spaces in between here. These are the elements of my array, but it's printing out like 1234 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's fix this problem very quickly. All I have to do, I'm just going to come over here and add space. And I'm going to run the program again. And there it is. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's write a similar program and multiply the elements of array. Okay, now let's run this program and see how this one works. So if you take a look over here, it has multiplied 1 by 2 by 3 by 4, and the result is 24. One thing I want to point out here, some viewers may get confused why these numbers are in order. This was just a coincidence. Let's change these numbers and rerun the program. Let's just put some other numbers in here. And we're going to rerun the program. And here is the product of these numbers. Now let's write a program that have the user input the elements of an array instead. Okay, now let's run this program and see what would be the output of this program. So right now, this program will ask me to enter 5 numbers. And I'm going to put 5 different numbers, and it's going to print the numbers out. Up next, let's practice with two-dimensional array. Okay, now let's run this program, F5 again, and here's the output window. I'm going to put the numbers, and here is the output. Please note once again that this is the rows and this is the columns, and when using a for loop, we need to have one for loop for rows and one for loop for columns. Okay, this is the fun part. Now let's write a program that reads from a file into the array and prints it out. In this section, I will write a program with 6 employees and the number of hours each one of them worked. My program will ask the user to input hours worked for each one of the employees, and then it'll print it out. Let's take a look. And now that we have the file right over here, let's go ahead and run the program and see how it works. So I'm going to use F5 to run the program. And we have employee 1 worked 25 hours, employee 2. And if I go over here and click on word.text, that's exactly the hours that we have given it. All right, and this will conclude this session. I hope this video helped you understand arrays better.